Kowalski, and we have a lot to talk about and looking forward to the next season of Millersville football here in Beamsdorfer Stadium, Christ Field. We're going to start off with our special guest for the evening. We have Kevin Wiggins, sophomore wide receiver for the Millersville Marauders. Kevin, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, so Kevin, just going over your background a little bit. You know, you're a sophomore. You still got a couple of years to play here at the Ville. Wide receiver, a position that's really kind of become essential to the way that the offense clicks here at Millersville. I know we have Phil Overton at running back, but wide receiver is something that's become real essential for J.J. Page to use as an asset. And of course, you know, originally from Baltimore, correct?
Yes, sir.
And you know, you went to high school up in Hershey in this case, right?
Yes.
Okay, and then, you know, just to start out with, you know, from Baltimore, you know, went to Hershey and everything, so you've been around this area for a little bit and everything. Did that influence your decision to come to Millersville?
Well, yeah, kinda. I wanted to be around the area because I have a strong connection with my high school, so being close there was something that helped make my decision of ultimately coming here to Millersville to help play football and change the program around.
Yeah, and I know, Kevin has been a big impact player here for the Marauders and everything. I know one of the things we were talking about before the game was the homecoming performance that you had, putting up 4 touchdown receptions in that game. You know, narrow loss and everything, you know, a little bit of a heartbreaker against Lock Haven, but still a great game, great performance by yourself. You know, when you look at games like that, when you have, you know, just a breakout game and everything, how does that motivate you going further through the rest of the season?
Well, it just makes me hungrier to go out and achieve better than what I did last week. It just motivates me to be the best player that I can be because I know I'm capable of doing a lot of things, and I just want to see myself be great.
All right, I know we mentioned just minutes ago that he is a sophomore. So, Kevin, being a sophomore, you still have a couple years left here at the Ville. And that means you have to prepare for the next season. Now, the spring game, the black and gold game, is coming up this Saturday. What time is that game?
The game is at 7 p.m.
7 p.m., and that's going to be up in Beamsdorfer?
Yes.
And that's going to be open to the public, right? Everyone
Yes.
can come out, see how the team's looking for next season?
Yes.
All right. What type of preparation goes into preparing for the spring game?
Well, we start out with conditioning in January, so we'll do 4 weeks of conditioning in Pacillo, and then we'll do a week outside where it's the competition week where we'll go competitiveness against each other. And then we'll lift all spring, and then we have 14 spring practices leading up to the spring game to help us prepare and get familiar with the offense because there's a lot of walk-ons that come on and the transfers as well. So we just do a lot of things leading up until the spring game.
Okay, so when it comes to playing the spring game, you know, of course, is it just building upon what you worked on during the spring and winter and just trying to familiarize yourself with, you know, the offensive plays and trying to come together as a team? Is that the main goal?
It's just building chemistry, getting better familiar with the players that you're playing with, the plays that you're going over in the game, and just practicing game situations that occur during the season so that you're prepared for the season when it comes.
Now, last season, where were you on the depth chart? Were you 2 or 3 for the wide receivers on the depth chart? Or
I was the number 1 receiver.
Oh, man. I am sorry about that. No,
No, you're fine.
yeah, but I was just asking because I know primarily watching you, you played a little bit of the slot and everything. So you're still, you know, holding that number 1 spot, or at least, you know,
Yeah,
you plan
well,
to going into this season.
During the season, I would play like they would move me all around just to get me in the best position to give me the ball and things like that of that nature. So anywhere I'll play where they need me.
And I think, would you agree that that's kind of a little bit of a deceptive tactic on your coach's part? Because, you know, normally you'd see the main guys, you know, on the outsides and everything going for those streaks up the sideline and everything, but they're putting you in the slot to maybe hide the fact that, you know, you're their elite number 1 receiver then in that case. Would you agree with that?
I do agree with that. And I like playing in the slot a lot because I get matched up with a lot linebackers, and typically I'm faster than them, so that just gives me the advantage when I'm running my routes and things of that nature.
Yeah, and you know, just beyond yourself, you know, you have other some of the other wide receivers that you have out there. You guys are a bit more of a speedier core, that it seems. How do you think that plays into how plays are decided in game situations, knowing that you guys have a lot more speed, you know, on the receiver side?
With us having a lot more speed, it gives us the ability to stretch the field and gives us the ability to throw more passes down the field. And also, it allows us to, as receivers, to take handoffs, as jet sweeps, and things of that nature. So having a very speedy receiving core just is an advantage than to just having tall guys and stronger guys. And I like the receivers that we have now.
So when it comes to the spring game and everything, you're obviously going to be out there for a lot of plays. Do they treat it a lot like the NFL preseason, in which, you know, they'll rotate a lot of their, you know, second and third string guys out there just to see how they're performing, or do they primarily stick to the first string team?
Yeah, you'll see a lot of the walk-ons and the second and third team getting in there just to see like what they'll do in the game situation, and it's just to get the guys out there and show what they can do in the spring.
Okay, then when you come out of the spring game, of course you have the entire summer ahead before you get into the season and everything. And is that just more conditioning work as you go through the summer months?
Well, in the summer, we actually have a strength and conditioning coach. So we'll have 2 summer segments where we'll lift and run, and then we'll get a week off, and then we'll lift and run for another 4 weeks before we enter fall camp. So it's just preparing yourself for fall camp and getting ready for the season.
Do you think that the dedication that it takes to play football at the collegiate level is something that you're really proud of, that you're able to dedicate, you know, a full, like, it's year round? So, or do you think it's awesome that you're able to dedicate all this time to a sport that you love?
Yes, I do think it is awesome that I am able to do this, but just not for football though. If you're a college athlete, it takes a lot of dedication just to be involved in the sport, because there's a lot of early mornings and late nights of getting up and doing things. So if you're a college athlete, you're just a plus for that anyway.
When it comes to being a college athlete, of course you're still in college as well with that, and being a broadcast major and everything, you're doing a lot of work in, you know, Hash and Bachelor for your classes, and those classes are very hands-on. How do you balance the two between being an athlete and being an academic?
Well, what helps is a lot that we have study table, and that gives us a lot of time to do our work and get prepared for the upcoming weeks, and that is a plus for getting our work done and things of that nature. And just like finding time between your personal life and studies, you have to make the decision on if you want to go out or do you know you have to study. So like it's just it's a mature level that a lot of college athletes have.
Do you think that's something that a lot of college athletes learn, is maturity coming into college, and that's the difference between college and high school?
Yeah, making the jump from high school to college, you have to grow up a lot because everything's on your own and you have to just push yourself to be great.
And when it comes to, you know, maturing and everything, do you guys try to lean on each other to try to, you know, help each other out in situations and everything?
Yes, we push each other to the limit because we want to be great and we want to be the best that we can, and we know what each other has inside of them. So we try to get that out of them so that we all can succeed.
And that's within the team and everything. Not only do you work with each other on the field, but off the field as well.
Field as well. We spend a lot of time together off the field as a team.
Yeah, and then how does the football team and the athletes of the football team, like, does that relationship continue to the rest of athletes on the Millersville campus? Do you guys, you know, tend to, you know, recognize each other as athletes and the dedication that you have and everything?
Yeah, we see a lot of athletes around on campus, and we give them their kudos when they have games and things of that nature. So I think being a college athlete, you respect the other college athletes as well because you know what they're going through because you're in the same situation as they are.
Of course. Now, we don't want too many spoilers for the upcoming season, obviously. You know, you guys looking to improve, you know, based on this past season. It hasn't been the smoothest couple of seasons, but you know, your coach is getting his legs under him. He now has a full class that he's drafted on his own. Is there any kind of plays that you think are interesting that have been added to the playbook recently that you can discuss? Anything interesting coming up that we can look out for?
Well, we actually switched our defense to a 4-3.
Okay, that's a big change.
They've shown tremendous strides in the spring. And the offense, we've done a lot of more run-pass option. So it's going to be a good season coming up, and the fans should expect a lot from us.
Yeah, sounds great. Seems like an exciting time here on Millersville's campus, looking for the football game coming up up this Saturday at 7 p.m. in Beamsdorfer Stadium. When we come back on campus, we're going to be talking about what's happening to some of the football players that are graduating. Is the possibility of an NFL team in the future for some of these athletes? We're going to come back with Kevin along with another one of our analysts to talk about that. We'll be right back. You're watching On Campus.
Come in.
Hi, are you Dr. Dorman? Oh. I'm a broadcasting major and I'd like to get involved with MUTV.
Oh, they're meeting right now. They're down in the studio.
Oh, okay, great, thank you.
So, same time next week?
Well, of course. Put away a few bucks, feel like $1 million. For free tips to help you save, go to Feed the Pig.
All right, welcome back to On Campus. Again, we just had our interview with Kevin Wiggins, and Kevin is sticking with us for right now, along with our analyst, Alan Kling. Guys, we're talking about the NFL draft, and we're going to talk about both Millersville's focus in the draft and, the draft in general, because, guys, it's the NFL draft. It's, a week away. It's going to be exciting. I can't wait to see what's going to happen. My team, Dallas Cowboys, number 4 pick. Hoping they do something big with that. But right now, as of right now, who do you guys feel is going to be the first pick of the draft?
Definitely Carson Wentz.
Carson Wentz?
He's a tremendous leader. He's won 4 national championships at the Division I level.
I'm going to go with the other guy. I'm going to go with Goff. Because ESPN right now is reporting him being definitely the top pick for the Rams. And it would feel right at home for him, being a Cal-bred at Cal University and then just going right down the road to LA. It would be great, and plus, he's also getting comparisons to Andy Dalton, which not too shabby of a comparison. And then once he makes his arrival in LA, he'll have Tavon Austin to work with, so that would be a pretty good pairing right there.
All right then, and looking at these teams, a very good point with Goff, being a Cal grad and everything, and looking to just go down to LA. The Rams, new in town anyway, so that'd be an interesting pick. Now on the flip side, we're going to switch over to the Millersville a little, or actually, excuse me, we'll get to Millersville in a second. But with the Eagles officially, just moments ago, what it feels like when it comes to the scheme of the offseason, Eagles last-second trade up to number 2. Who do you think they're going to take? Will they take Carson Wentz? Since Alan, you seem so high on Carson Wentz staying on the table for the second pick. Do you think the Eagles are a good fit for him?
Well, first of all, I personally feel like they gave up way too much, but that ship sailed
Yeah, you can't
so
do
ago.
much. You can't do much
change
about
that now.
now.
Yeah. But Howie Roseman said in the press conference that he feels that Jared Goff and Carson Wentz they're vanilla and chocolate. They're both high class, top of the line quarterbacks in the draft right now, and he's comfortable for either one. So that would be great for Howie Roseman if either one is right there. And at the same time, he's also said that Sam Bradford's going to be locked up to be the starting quarterback for week 1, and then groom him, kind of like Aaron Rodgers did with Brett Favre, to go right in there. Plus, Carson Wentz is on the draft board or top of the board for so many other teams. They could always use him as bait to drop down and get some more picks.
Which seems like a reversal based on what the Eagles currently did.
Mm-hmm.
Do you, Kevin, happen to agree with that? Do you think that Carson Wentz is a good fit for the Philadelphia Eagles?
I happen to disagree, actually. I see him as a starter, so coming in right away, I feel like he will be a good pick for a team that needs a starting quarterback right now, and I feel like he would fit the job, and he just doesn't fit for the Eagles.
Okay, so possibly not the best option there. I know a lot of Eagles fans, they don't want a Sam Bradford type situation. They don't want a player to come in who ends up tearing his ACL 3 years in a row and just disappears. Now, moving on to our local talent, cornerback Joey Pham, has been one of the players that we've been talking about at Millersville who has the possibility of making it into the draft. Now, being a Division II player, do you think that hurts his ability to make a splash in the draft? Kevin, since you played with him, do you have any insight on that?
Well, yeah, coming from D2, you have to, if you want to get drafted, like during draft day, you have to be a tremendous player, and you have to be all-league, all-American, all of that. And Pham, don't get me wrong, Pham's a hell of a player, but just not at the caliber of the Division I players that are getting those major looks. And just coming from a big Division I school, you get that advantage just coming from the name of the school.
And of course, Joey Pham, he went to Temple University for their spring, training event and everything to get a chance to be seen by some of the scouts there for the NFL and everything. Alan, do you see the possibility of Joey making maybe a late round selection pick on draft day?
I feel if he's able to get picked up in the late rounds or possibly in a post-draft free agency role, I see him getting picked up by the Steelers because they're trying to get younger, and according to multiple sources, they don't have anyone they're looking at on their current depth chart that can step in and to play the same position Joey's playing. So that would be a great landing spot for him.
All right, and then moving on to our other local talent that takes up that secondary there on defense, Rasheed Johnson, reportedly has been in conversations with the Jets about being drafted. Do you think that he has the ability to make it onto the roster there and make it onto the 53-man team?
Yes, like with Pham, I see them getting picked up to enter a fall camp, just to show what they can do. And if they make it to a fall camp, I think they'll excel and actually make the practice squad, and they can work their way up into the 53-man roster.
Alan, do you think that the possibility of a safety like Rasheed Johnson ending up with the Jets is a good fit there?
Well, I feel that the Jets showing him interest definitely helps his stock. If he isn't necessarily picked up by the Jets, it could definitely help out knowing that the Jets are giving him some interest. Having other teams might look at him because the Jets are showing him some interest. I'm also looking at the Washington Redskins picking up potentially because they're, like Pittsburgh, are trying to get younger at his position, and they could definitely need some help from somebody like him at the safety spot.
I mean, you talked about his draft stock kind of getting helped by being looked at the Jets. I mean, this is the team that rocked Darrelle Revis for the longest time. I mean, their secondary knows what's going on up there in New York and everything. And of course, you mentioned the Steelers and the Redskins, both teams that are in conversation, to improve their secondary. Josh Norman being an option for them since he just has been rescinded from his franchise tag with the Carolina Panthers and everything. Now, Kevin, since you have some insight on the team, we talked about Joey Pham, we talked about Rasheed Johnson. Is there anyone else you think that has the possibility to work their way on to that next level and play pro?
Well, actually, we have another guy that's working towards going to the NFL. His name's Lenny Sinelli. He played offensive lineman for us this year. He's actually he's signed with a good agency, and he's been working out really well, and he's gotten a lot bigger. And I can potentially see him getting picked up in the camp as well.
Okay. And, for all of this, we're going to have to wait until Thursday, of course, to see where it falls on draft day, where all of this great collegiate talent, lands on draft day and everything. I know Alan being an Eagles fan, he has a lot to look at the second pick. Myself being a Cowboys fan, I've heard tons of different things. What team do you represent in the NFL?
I like the San Diego Chargers.
The San Diego Chargers. So you're up there too at number 3. Okay, so
We got 2, 3, and 4
we
right
got
here.
all 3 of us together. All right. Really quick, we got a couple of seconds. What's your pick? Who do you think they're gonna take?
The corner from Florida State.
Corner from Florida
a
State,
good
Jalen
pick.
Ramsey.
Yeah.
That
I like
seems like a
that
good
pick.
pick. All right, but unfortunately, we're out of time. We're going to come back after this quick commercial break and talk about much more things that are happening around campus, and we'll see what happens. Stay tuned, rather. You're watching On Campus.
Hey man, looking to join the MUTV? Think it's gonna be fun? Well, you're wrong. Drop and give me 20. Come on! Come on! It's enough curls. Squat! Freshman thinks it's nap time. Wakey, wakey. What are you doing? What are you doing? Is this acceptable? Is this acceptable? First and last time there, freshie boy. Now carry Matt.
With the first selection in the draft, MUTV selects Hunter Conley?
Welcome back to On Campus. We have a little bit more time in the show, so we're going to talk about what's going on all around our campus here at Millersville as we look into our headlines. Well, we're going to start at the Diamond, as we almost always do here at Millersville. The baseball team has now moved to #1 in the country for the first time in school history. The Marauders beat Lincoln University 34-6 on Tuesday. The Marauders had 22 hits and 16 walks that helped them get those 34 runs. The team was just 6 runs shy of tying the PSAC record for most runs in a game, ironically set by Millersville against Lincoln in 2013. The team is 18-2 in the PSAC and has an amazing overall record to have that first place ranking in Division II baseball. Staying on the women's diamond, the softball team has clinched the first ever PSAC playoff berth as they defeated Shippensburg on Friday. The girls then swept the number 12 team in the nation, Westchester University, on Saturday. Key contributors Brianna Andros and Brittany Smith helped send the Marauders to the PSAC playoffs for the first time, Brianna being the athlete of the week here at Millersville. They were announced as pitcher of the week and player of the week for their contributions Friday and Saturday.
Also this past weekend, the women's track and field team attended the Bison Open and had women finish first in 2 events. Vanessa Howard broke Millersville's record in the hammer throw event at 54.13 meters as she went on to finish first in the event. Era Madison also had a good day for the Marauders when she placed first in the 400-meter hurdles. The Marauders will be at the East Stroudsburg All-American meet this Saturday. To the tennis court now, where our women's team has been doing all well this season. The Marauders finished out the season with a 9-0 victory over Shippensburg. The girls finished the season 5-1 in the division, putting them in second place. Their overall record in the season was 13-6. The Marauders had one last match in Chestnut Hill today before they enter the PSAC tournament play on the 26th.
Marauder lacrosse beat Lockhaven 10-6 to keep their playoff hopes alive. The girls need to beat Gannon in order to make the PSAC playoffs. We have more to come on the girls lacrosse team, or excuse me, we don't have more to come for the girls lacrosse team. But for now, let's take a little bit of a look at Marauder football. As we talked about earlier, the black and gold game is this Saturday. The scrimmage will be held at Christ Field at 7 p.m. The offense will be able to score the normal way in football, but the defense will earn a point for every series stop, 2 points for a 3-and-out, 3 points for a turnover, and finally 6 points for a touchdown of their own. The team has 7 returning starters on both sides of the ball. 5 of the returning 7 defensemen are the team's top tacklers. Kevin Wiggins, one of the players we talked to earlier, was one of them. And in the future, you know, there's a lot that we can talk about with the team. Wish them good luck in their game for Saturday, of course, at Beamsdorfer Stadium on Christ Field. All right then, so Nate, you know, we have just a little bit of time, so we're going to talk about the #1 team in Division II baseball, and of course that being the Millersville Marauders here. You know, a lot of good stuff that we see from the team and everything. You know, what do you think they're going to be able to do going into the next level of play?
Well, I mean, if we can look back at it, remember in March Madness, I'm going to go to a different sport for a second, and you'll see why it ties back in. Villanova went #1 for the first time ever. So, and look what they did. The first time in their school history, they were #1. They won the whole thing. I feel as though this #1 seeding for the first time in their career is going to be a big push to them, a big motivation factor for them to do well in the playoffs. And I feel as though they're going to go really far to the finals, as close as they can get.
Of course, and you know, the baseball team, before I know we were talking about how this might be the best season for them in school history. And at this point, can we even deny that? The first time they're ever ranked #1 in the country for Division II baseball. They have just an amazing record at this point. You see multiple players looking at possibly being drafted into the MLB later in the year. Of course, you have on the pitching side, you have Brandon Miller doing incredible work. You have 2 freshmen that are both pulling their weight in the starting rotation, that being Cordell Shannon and Reed Anderson, both of them doing amazing work again as freshmen. And then on the other side, you know, out in the field and at the bats, Tyler Orris breaking records all over the place as a senior. You have both the Stoltzfuses, Mitch and Dan Cousins, both on the team, both with amazing batting averages, getting on base a lot. And I mean, for crying out loud, they almost broke their own record for most runs in a game. 34 runs in a game. I thought I was looking at a football score, 34-6. You got to be kidding me. That's ridiculous. That's just absolutely incredible work by the Millersville Marauder baseball team, and we wish them the best of luck as they hit the home stretch of their season. All right then, so that's unfortunately all that we have to talk about today. Nate, you know, great having you on the show for headlines and everything.
Thank you.
And credit to both Kevin Wiggins, our guest that we talked to earlier today, and Alan Kling, our expert. He's working on a little piece about the Millersville Marauders' opportunities of being drafted. Looking forward to that in the future. From myself, Nate, and everyone in the studio, our producer, Kaylin Wolfskill, you know, we just had a lot of fun here today, and I hope that we can bring you that fun next week. For On Campus, I'm Dan Zaleski. We'll see you next time.